Be proud of what you wear. Be proud of what you make when you put it on, what you pay for. Da da kente da, da da kente da, da da kente da.
When I first moved here, it didn't seem as though there were very many immigrants, and people didn't seem to be worried about it. As I watched the population of immigrants grow, and not only the population of immigrants from Latin America, the population of immigrants as a whole grow, some people became very, very anxious about it.
From time to time in my job, I would sense some discrimination. Now it will come from the white part of the culture, not the black. That's funny, huh?
Yeah,
and I would speak up in a nice way. Yeah, because we don't live in a perfect world.
Right.
You will bound to find that, you know. People are afraid. It's the fear that's why they're doing that. I don't blame them, you know. They are afraid of losing their jobs, you know. Immigrant people are coming and taking over because, you know, most of the time we don't be petty about the job, we just do it.
Many people here in Indianapolis, not all people, maybe a minority of people here felt very threatened by that immigration and very threatened maybe by immigration in general.
Find out that people here don't know a lot more about outside of, you know, like I expected as much as I learned U.S. history that I would expect, you know, people to know at least a little bit about me, but I found out that it was zero. There wasn't any. It was just not that much history that kids know about my country or Africa or outside of it.
Now we have a president, so they're giving him hard time. And because of that hard time, the people are being suffering. So I wish that I could reach someone and said, enough about this nonsense. You know, help the man out, because the people are suffering enough as it is. You know, but that's not what's happening. And people are still living in tents. The process is slow. And all that money they said they gave to the people, I don't see it. Because I went to the country, I still see the same thing from the last year.
Nothing's really changed.
Nothing really changed. Media tends to play a role to show that Haiti is really a bad place to be. And I'm trying to educate the young people that's not so. Because we were the first in the entire black nation to get our independence. And it's been 200 years history. We are strong people.
Ethiopia, as you know, being a third world country, and there's a lot of things, you know, we don't have like here. But at the same time, you know, the things like here, we have the city, we have the schools, we have a lot of things, so it's very limited and a very small, like in the capital. So what happened was there was all this series of killings, and somebody takes over, he gets killed, somebody gets over, he gets killed, somebody takes over, he gets killed, and finally the army took over. Don't look at the building or don't look at the police. The whole government issued anything. You cannot talk about politics. You cannot talk about government. You cannot do anything. I feel like, oh my God, this is terrible. How does it change like this? It just went backward. Government now starting in the 80s, is kind of they overthrew the old dictatorship. So it has switched. But the thing is, lots of things they're building on. So there was still a conflict. There's just still a lot of problem that they need, it's being worked out. So even though they transition into a democratic government, there's still a lot of things that has not worked out between tribes. There's so many different tribes, major tribes, minor tribes, there's different issues. So there's just still a lot of Ethiopians here. Things have been a whole lot better, that some of the Ethiopians have been able to go back. Like me, I'm a citizen here, so I have been able to go back and forth and trying to help a little bit. So it's changing. It's not as it was. All the educated people left the country. And then the other part is people who have money, they left the country anyway. So the people who are poor are the ones that hurt. They were the only ones left there, so the economy just collapsed. They didn't have anything.
In Sierra Leone, like some other countries in Africa and other places, we had a turmoil over elections, politics. After they had ruled for 23 to almost 25 years, and the people got fed up, and so there was uprising for democracy. It ended up with war among the same people of the same kind in the same country, but different nationality and different tribes took sides, ethnic groups of one type from the north against ethnic groups from the east, west, and some people from the south. It led into 10 years of war. Before 1973, I had been arrested twice in Sierra Leone for my activity or activities. I was a politician as a young man, and I was also a journalist. I had my own press, Freedom Press. The government was afraid that we were exposing them too much. Right. And that we were alerting the people to the things they were doing. And the things are not very different from the things people do in Mexico, parts of Latin America, London, and parts of Africa, many parts of Africa. Corruption. Yes. Corruption, dictatorship. They don't want to be criticized or be told what they are doing.
Indiana is welcoming more refugees than a greater increase than any other state. Most of these refugees are the victims of war. So in their home countries, there's a war or there's been persecution that's driven them across the border into another country and then finally to the United States when they have permission. The largest number of those refugees coming here are from Burma.
My uncle took part in the Burma War from Sierra Leone, to tell you how war and colonialism are related.
It has been too long. The military took over, and a lot of corruption going on. The good position you have to go through with, under table money and so on and so forth. So, the government didn't create enough job for the people.
If we go to the forest, if the women go to forest, they follow, and if they want to kill, they kill. They can do about us whatever they want.
So they have the power to do that?
We don't have any power.
So they're coming as ethnic and religious minorities persecuted by the Burmese government. They fled to Thailand, to Bangladesh, to Malaysia, where they also had to kind of stay in the shadows because they didn't have a legal residence there. The U.S. State Department said you have permission to come to Indianapolis, but it's just very natural for them to still say, how do we know we won't be hated here? How do we know that we won't be treated here the way we were treated in our own country, the way we were treated in these countries we fled to?
I left my country, it was long ago, like 1996. Yeah, it was economic hardship, and I graduated from Burma. After that, I was looking for a job, and it's really hard to get a job. So I sneak into Thailand and get a job in Thailand. After that, yeah. I was in Thailand about more than 10 years. Prices are getting higher, and then you cannot feed the family at all after that. So a lot of people just sneak into Thailand and make money and send back home, so the family survive.
When you compare these refugees from Burma with some immigrants from Latin America, it's a wonderful comparison, because the refugees from Burma left their homes entirely unwillingly. They were driven out by fire and war and persecution. They didn't want to leave.
My mom was very sad. She don't want to come U.S.
She didn't want to come?
Yes.
How about you?
I'm good to come here.
You did want her to come?
Yes.
What are some of the things you missed about
my country?
your country?
I left my grandparents, and I left my best friends. I miss also my village.
I remember my sister and I, every day when we go to school, we would be in fight with other boys and girls. They were very mean. They would say, go back to your country. They would have names like HBO, that's like Haitian body odor. They would say banana boat, because in Florida, many of the people came from Haiti in a little boat. So, and we would be constantly in fight with those kids.
The culture and the family, I mean, in our country, the families, you're really tight and you're really close, that you can't see in the United States.
Is it hard for you?
No. It's hard a little bit because we can't speak English.
That's the only reason, the language?
Yes, the language.
We are Americans. Or no, are we Americans or are we Ethiopians? Who are we?
And if I was the parent of children who were second-generation immigrants, I would feel nervous about that too, because I'd say, sure, I want you to be an American, I want you to fit in here, there are opportunities we didn't have back home, but I don't want you to stop speaking our language, I don't want you to change your religion. Immigrants have been dealing with that for forever. I mean, that's always a tension.
In Ethiopia, it's very high mountains. People over there, they go up and down the mountains all the time, climb up. I did that before. Now, they say, let's go. We were going to this church, and my mind is not thinking mountains. When we got there, everybody started climbing, and I'm looking at them like, I haven't done this for years. I can't do it. To them, they don't understand. Oh, come on. Just keep going. Halfway through, I'm totally dehydrated, and I'm saying that, and I'm getting ready to pass out. And so they looked at me. Oh, she's serious. So they don't understand it. These are a lot of older people. They're going up and down, and they looked at, what happened to you? I said, because I haven't been here. My thinking, the way of thinking, the way I process things is different. Now, if I go back, I'll be facing probably the same thing I faced over here at the beginning, because it's just, the whole thinking is different. They every day looking at it. They start calling me, I'm one of those, the lost tribe. You just have no idea what's going on.